Hi, welcome to a brief tutorial on using sABR to create a single case that you can distribute to many students so that they can do the assignment and then hand those back to you. So you'll have to start with your sABR in an instructor mode. So you have to have your instructor version. Right now, just in open mode here, we'll just create an assignment number 1, and we'll go ahead and say yes. So you have to create these cases in the assignment mode. So assignment number 1, you can see here we have a case. I'm just going to open my instructor view on so I can see the case fully. And we can see that there is a retrocochlear involvement in the left ear here. So if we think that that's okay, where we can actually increase this to be a little bit more if you like. We can also do it bilaterally. So let's say you're happy with this case, and we can go ahead and save it and distribute to the students. But before you do this, you're going to have to set the EEG. Now this is a little bit of a workaround. In future versions, we'll have it to allow for the fluctuating noise states. So if we just open up the state and noise here, you can see that there is a fluctuating noise across the session time. So this black dotted line here is relative to the actual time that the case was created. If you are distributing this to your students tomorrow, this black dotted line will go right to the end and the session will be over. To work around that, what you need to do is to change it from fluctuating to stable state and then change your noise state that you wish. So for this version of sABR, you will not have the option of having it do a fluctuating state for saving it and then having your students open it up, because the black dotted line will get to the end and then it'll turn into a full awake state. But you can change it so that there's a stable noise and you can make your noise whichever you like. Once that is done, you go and click Save ABR. And we'll just keep that here as QI sABR. And there you go. You've saved the case for the students. And just to show you how the students will open this up, I'm going to close this version of sABR and open up the student version. Okay, now I'm back in the student version. As you can see, it says student up here, and we do not have the instructor view button there. So once you've distributed that case file that we created, you distribute that to each of your students. They would then save it on their computers and then go ahead and load it. So we'll just go ahead and do that here as if we were a student. Click on load, and we go and we would load that case. And then if we click on open, the case opens up. They do not see the information of the ABR wave latencies, but they do see the audiogram because this is for assignment 1 for a retrocochlear screening. If you click on the EEG, this will be that stable EEG that you saved. And I will just do a little trick that I have on my end just to show you that in this student mode, this is what kind of noise that they'll be having. Okay, so what I did was I actually just enabled this state and noise function so we can see that it is the stable state and noise. What you can also see is the dotted line has moved in time, a lot more than the time in which I just opened up the student version. So this will get eventually to the end. So that stable state allows you to continue to record, even if this black dotted line got straight to the end. Now the students might see a pop-up that says session time over. Just ask them to ignore that. In future versions, we'll have that sorted out. So what they will see is that this is ongoing EEG, but they will not be able to click on that little function. And I'm just going to disable that now. So I went ahead and disabled it. This is what they would be seeing, and then they can go ahead and acquire. Okay, once your student has created their waveforms and created the report, they can go ahead and save that again. but I recommend them calling it something else, like QI and maybe their initials. They can save the page by clicking this Save Page. That will come up. Pick the folder in which you want to save this print screen to, and it will have saved into that directory. Other thing that can also be done, you can use snippet tools or snipping tools, and just go ahead and click on snippet, and you can select the screen, and then you have your waveforms printed out, and you can go ahead and save that into some file. Okay. So once that's done, what I'll do is I will pause the video here and load up what the student will then send to you. Okay, now we're back in the instructor version. It has the instructor button here, and now we can go and load up the file that the students had sent. So go ahead and click load and open up that file with the student's initials. And this will say saved as instructor version, and yes, that's because you originally saved it in the instructor version. Click OK, and then it'll go ahead and load the report. We'll give it a minute or so here. Okay, now it's loaded the report. You are still in the assignment 1 mode. To see all of the results, you can go and hit instructor view off. We'll turn that on, just put in your password. And there you go, the instructor view is now up, and you can see the ABR wave latencies, as well as you'll see the students' recordings on the right. And to hide the audiogram, we'll just go ahead and click on Acquire Page, and it will show up with the students' recordings here. Now, if they made averages, the current version of sABR, version 10.2, will replot the actual SDR and RN values for all the averages, but you can go ahead and ignore them. But all the other markings are correct, and we can see the student marked wave 1 and 5, and they also indicated that waves 1 and 5 interpeak latencies were 5.48 milliseconds, which is nice to have plotted on the screen. And from that, knowing our normative data, we can say yes, it was prolonged. We can also then go and check the student's correctness by clicking on one of the waveforms, and it'll update down here the amplitudes and latencies for that waveform. We'll go ahead and go back to audiogram, and now we can directly compare what they recorded and what the actual wave 1 to 5s are. So we've got waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 1 to 3, and the 1 to 5. And that's for the left ear. We can go and check that 5.48, 5.37, very close. We can then go back and check the right ear. Just double click on that, just make sure it's highlighted, and that's the right information there. We'll go back to audiogram, and we can check 5.28, bang on 5.28. So hopefully that will be a short little demonstration for how you can create an assignment for a single case, distribute it to multiple students, and they will all send that back. And then you can load that back up in your instructor version and view the cases and the assignment that the student has sent you. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye for now.